Welcome to Mahila Money Talks. Today we have Sreela Pillai Roy with us, who is the founder director of Organic Orchards Pvt Limited with a decade-long experience in risk management and retail banking. आज इन्हीं की कंपनी ऑर्गेनिक ऑर्चार्ड्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड के एक ब्रांड उर्विजा के बारे में हम बात करेंगे, जो कि एक सस्टेनेबल स्किन और हेयर केयर ब्रांड है. इसमें ये लोग पाम ऑयल के इस्तेमाल ना करके नेचुरल ऑयल के इस्तेमाल करते हैं. हम उनसे जानेंगे आज और क्या और कैसे है ये सस्टेनेबल. एक सस्टेनेबल वेंचर के साथ साथ ये बंगाल की रूरल महिलाओं को एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इकोनॉमिक अपॉर्चुनिटी देती हैं. तो इसके बारे में भी उनसे जानेंगे. आज हमारा पॉडकास्ट का जो टॉपिक है वो है फ्रॉम आइडिया टू आइडेंटिटी, न्यूएंसेस ऑफ बिल्डिंग अ ब्रांड. हाउ डिड यू स्टार्ट द ब्रांड उर्विजा? व्हाट स्पार्क द आइडिया? उर्विजा आपने स्टार्ट कैसे किया? ये आपका पर्सनल था या कुछ मार्केट गैप था जो आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया? कुछ स्टोरी हमें बताइए इसके बारे में.
All started with a cup of coffee, I must tell you. Okay, so one evening we were just sitting with a cup of coffee, Boibhav and I, my husband, who is also the co-founder or co-ideator of Urvija. So we were watching this short film and documentary by David Attenborough, and they were showing how indiscriminately the forests were being cut down in Southeast Asia, the rainforest there, and not only the trees and the forests were cut down, the way they were burning the wildlife and the habitat there, and it was absolutely gruesome. You could see the small babies, the orangutan babies, and the small white tiger, which is also a native animal of there, how they were being destroyed. Now, of course, the question is that why were they doing so? If it was so gruesome, it was all being done for palm oil cultivation. And then our research and some kind of study started with that soul-stirring video, I must say. And we realized that from 1990 onwards, the way the palm oil and the derivatives of palm oil, the way they have made inroads to our daily life in terms of the cosmetics that you use, the bread that you eat, the cake that you enjoy, in everything. I really did not know what exactly, how is it that I'm going to answer to this pain, the suffering that I was having within. And we realized that almost about 77 to 80% of the cosmetics that we use, it has palm oil in some or the other form, and soaps are the major culprit. And that was the start, and something had to be, it was our call in terms of something had to come as an answer, and we did not stick it only to our suffering, we made it our mission. And that is how in a couple of years from that point Urvija was born.
How did you bring Urvija's philosophy to life in terms of design, storytelling, packaging? So if you could elaborate on that.
I will first like to talk about a challenge. Frankly speaking, the idea was conceptualized somewhere around 2017-18. Okay, at that point in time, people in India, particularly, they were, if I may say so, there were very little concern about the climate change issue. There were very little fear about what damage we are continuing to do to our environment. So we really found it difficult to convey the message that as to why do you need a palm oil substitute, or why do you need substitute product in your daily lifestyle or whatever that you use on a daily basis. I made a couple of trips abroad because by that time Europe particularly, they were quite ahead of us in terms of understanding the damages that these activities of deforestation had been doing by that time. So गए वहाँ पे, and we saw people, the way the storytelling that you were talking about, and that was the point I saw, that whether people are able to relate to it or not, we have to keep harping on it, right? So initially there were a certain kind of a packaging that we were into, but later on we understood that was not, customers were not able to understand why is that I should be using, whether it is Urvija or any palm oil free product. So I am very confident about the ingredients that I am putting in instead of palm oil. They are the best in class ingredients, which is available in plethora as far as Indian environmental situation is concerned. But at the same time, I also wanted to say that by using this soap, this is how you're probably helping at least one tree from getting cut down. So that's the story that I have been always very, very aligned to.
Now my next question is, there would be challenges or missteps in shaping this brand in the beginning. So, what was those? I mean, if you could elaborate how those missteps happened during the early phase of shaping this brand, Urvija.
Well, I don't know whether it is early misstep or I'm continuing to take missteps. I would not know that yet. But having said that, initially, I see at the end of the day, we started it off. Um, it was a social enterprise idea. So, given that as the background, it had to generate revenue. Now, when we started off, naturally, when your revenue stream is not coming, and then you always have this layer of getting into things, getting into activities which are not core, which is not aligned to the core that you have, which does not speak to the core that you want to build in. So we did experiment with, I would say subordinate, suboptimal products, and we thought that okay, that is how maybe somehow some kind of a revenue stream will coming. But those things don't help. A, your focus gets spoiled, and secondly, everything at the end of the day costs money. Even if you're making a product in order to, to go to market, whatever you, even for gold there has to be a go to market strategy. So for even if your bottom rung product that you're making, that also, so we really thought that when this focus was getting diluted, that's the time we just stopped it. That was one. Because the way we were emotionally touched by the video or the film or all the contents that we had started watching by that time, our expectation was that people will naturally empathize with the kind of feeling that we are having, the story. That is that's absolutely wrong. People, we are all very different people. We have all very different stimulus, and very different things inspires us, instigates us. So
Understanding your market.
yes, understanding my market and not to take it for granted.
How do you balance staying true to your values with being commercially successful?
So, no matter whatever the brand story is, it's my belief. People can have contradicting opinion about that, and they are entitled to their own viewpoint. But my belief is that no matter how strong the brand story is, unless and until the product is good, you are not going to be relevant in the market.
I'll tell you, I mean, we say that it's an Indian brand, we must use Indian brand, but Indian brand has to have the quality that other brands
Yes.
are available in the market, whether it is international, whether it is local made.
Yes.
Whichever quality is good,
Yes.
users go for that. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And especially when you are using it something directly on your skin, it is mixing with your bloodstream. It is there could be many possibilities of using a suboptimal product that we're speaking. One also has to develop the discipline of making the business work so that you get your money back, because your identity and your business identity, this is where I think, as particularly as brand owners and entrepreneurs, we keep mixing the two, that after all it's my baby and I can do whatever. So that's an extreme, and the other is that I don't care. So there has to be somewhere in between, balance between the two, because in my case it's a completely self-funded organization.
I mean, have you ever seen that your customers have, interpreted your brand differently than you would have expected? So any story like that?
I think partly we have talked about it. It's a regret though. I think in India, still people, they do not relate to the idea of climate change impacting them on a daily basis yet. Majority.
Yeah, for now.
There is
this is
yes. So there is this set of woke customers who probably know that yes, even if a forest is getting cut down in Southeast Asia or in Indonesia, Malaysia, wherever that is, somewhere or the other it is impacting my life, a very minimal percentage of it. Having said that, as far as interpretation, I would say that there is a slight hint of disappointment that we have, that it's very, or maybe I would say disappointment, probably it is a disappointment from my side also, that the voice that I should be able to give those poor creatures, probably that has to become louder. And when it becomes louder, the consumers, they would also perceive the brand story in the manner I want to. They still, a large extent, the consumers still see Urvija as a beauty brand. That is
Okay.
that's a kind of a gap that I see. And I also from the start I'm very clear that there are a lot of myth in the market as far as the men's grooming. Yes, there are certain grammar about men's grooming and female women's grooming. All those things are there, but there are basic hygiene items where a man is not stopped from using a kind of a soap or a kind of a shampoo. All of us use similar kind of product in most of the households, and that is where it's a no, it's a beauty brand. It's for women only, and it's to be represented as a gender neutral product, right? The packaging, the kind of communication, the creatives that we make sure that we include or there is an aspect of inclusivity.
How has Urvija brand evolved since the beginnings? If you can elaborate on it.
There are two things of it. One is the in terms of the operational side of it, the way I would look at it, and the other is the way we are growing or we are being known in the market. So the operational side, we started with certain kind of an SKU, soaps and etc. And over the period, we got into and this also, I think this is a very important point, that when you talk about bringing in a quality product to the market, from the start, and this my experience of traveling abroad and visiting fairs and all, what I got to see that there has to be some kind of a validity of your claim, whether it is in terms of testing, whether it is in terms of certification. And nowadays I I sometimes we chat up with the team, and we see that in today's date I see that, oh, there are these certification. So over the years, we were very painstakingly, we had taken no palm oil certificates from Orangutan Alliance Australia. We have taken certifications in terms of vegan and vegetarian products, because just in order to kind of show that how committed we were. So towards that, there's this one particular, it's just one example that I want to give you. There was this one particular product of a lip balm, and we were using like 10,000 other brands are using, we were using beeswax. So I said that, okay, officially I have not taken a cruelty-free certification yet, but if I have to evolve, if I have to go to the or really establish the next level of commitment to the sustainability cause that we have, it also has to have that understanding of a cruelty-free. So we went back to drawing board and we found out that there are naturally available, yes, so the food pulse and etc., which we could use, and we came up with a fantastic replacing beeswax completely, and we have come up with a completely natural lip balm. So that's just one such example that I'm telling you. The call, as in the introduction you said that the call was also that not to restrict this as a manufacturing unit of some skincare or personal care item. When we saw local women coming in and joining, they had no knowledge about soap making, etc. We trained them and we took it out. So that is how I think the current stage of development that we are going through. So we are taking our knowledge, we are taking the technology outside the periphery of Urvija's factory.
Thank you so much, Sreela. So all the women entrepreneurs who are hearing this podcast must listen to this economic opportunity, wherein they're just not building the sustainable brand, but they're also, letting the whole village, giving them the opportunity to build, to make these soaps doesn't need so much of investment, and you have Mahila Money, you have other government organizations who can actually fund you. So it's a great opportunity, Sreela. It was lovely talking to you, and all the audience, stay tuned for our podcast. Thank you so much.